This is the China-Hollywood Greenlight podcast, episode number 18.
And rolling sound. Quiet.
Here we go. Ready.
Speeding. 120, take 7.
And action.
This is Karen McCann, the host of the China-Hollywood Greenlight podcast, a podcast about creating and distributing content for both Hollywood and China. Any links mentioned in the podcast can be found in the show notes at chinahollywoodgreenlight.com/podcast and look for this episode, which is number 18. If you like the show, please go to iTunes, subscribe, and leave a rating so other like-minded people can find the podcast. A quick update on what I'm working on. Number one, I've got 2 things today. One, I connected with a producer and a director. I can't tell you their names yet, but let's just say they are my dream team. I'll contact them tomorrow and see where we are on 2 projects I am pitching them. Number 2, I'm gearing up for the AFM in November. I redid my flyer. I read a great article in Variety recently. It talked about how Hollywood actors are flocking to China, but there aren't any suitable roles for Hollywood actresses. So Hollywood talent agents are pushing for more roles for Hollywood actresses. So I made a point of that in my flyer. This is really music to my ears since my projects all feature female protagonists and in some cases even female antagonists. So maybe the time is right for my projects, which I like to describe as action films for smart women. Before I introduce today's guest, I'd like to start out with a motivational quote to encourage our listeners to continue on their path to achieving their own green light. And today's quote is from Les Brown, and he said, "Take responsibility for your life. Know that it is you who will get you where you want to go, no one else." Now, today's guest is a lady named Christine Lin. She is from Taiwan. She's a marketer, film director, and producer who's been working in China for many years. Here is the interview. Today's guest is Christine Lin. Christine has worked as a marketer, writer, film director, and producer in Greater China for years. She comes from Taiwan and has been working in Beijing for more than 15 years. Christine got her master's degree of art in San Diego State University of California. After that, she went to Hong Kong and worked for Star Movies Asian Channel. At present, she is the GM of Topstar Media International. The Beijing-based company is not only producing high-quality video film content, but providing marketing, consultant services to the domestic and international clients, such as the theatrically released movie 3D Smurfs and Wolf Warrior 2. Topstar Media International is a TV and film production company as well as a marketing and PR consulting agency. In addition to co-productions, the company proposes marketing strategies and PR activities for foreign clients such as Sony Entertainment Group and Disney Channel Asia. On the marketing side, she is the acting deputy director of Entertainment Marketing Committee of China's Advertising Association. So, Christine, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks and welcome. You are definitely a good friend.
Thank you, Christine. Now, I told the audience a little bit about you. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your business?
I think you will describe my company and my business very well. You know, I have few words to say now.
Okay, very good, very good.
It's near to perfect, you know.
Thank you for that. Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Why do you want to work in the China-Hollywood market? You've got obviously the Chinese companies you work for. You also have foreign clients such as Sony and Disney. Why do you want to work in the China-Hollywood market?
Well, I think the reason is very simple, you know. China is a huge market with the great potentiality, and it's still developing and full of opportunity. And Hollywood is the most important film industry in the world. And China needs Hollywood experience. and Hollywood needs the China's market. I think that's the reason why there are so many people, just travel between China and Hollywood.
Yes,
And
exactly.
to me, I mean, China is like a Western movie, full of adventure story. Well, when I was a child, my father always brought me to the theater to watch Hollywood Western films.
Oh, good, good.
Yes, it's full of the how do I say, full of the adventures and
Right,
the fantastic story. I still remember a very old movie star, John Wayne,
Oh,
and
okay.
yes, I don't know, probably that's the old movie when I was a child.
Oh, well,
But I
we'll
still
link to
remember
that.
him. Yeah, so you see, Hollywood films affect me so much,
Wow, that's
and my
good.
family. Yeah.
That's really charming to hear that. I love hearing that. Now, now you currently work for Topstar Media. Can you tell us what are 2 or 3 main tasks you do on a typical day?
Okay, I think that's a very interesting question for me because I never thought of it.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
regular routine work.
Uh-huh.
But in my typical working day, I get up in the morning and I regularly have the 15 minutes meditation and spend 30 minutes for doing exercise.
Okay.
Yeah, in order to wake up my mind, my brain, and the whole body. The meditation gives me more self awareness
Uh,
and a clear thought on what I am going to do that day.
right.
Then I go to the office. There are two parts of my daily work. One is production side. I need to study many scripts from the cooperative screenwriter in Great China. Some of them are very famous writer, but some of them are not. But I have to read the screen scripts because my colleague will screen some script and they will give me the better script to read. And I have to figure out which one is worthy to develop or go into production. You cannot make all the script
Of course.
to become, yeah. But when you read a good story, it will make you smile or even cry.
Mm.
But when you read some terrible script, that will
You're not going to
that
develop
will
that.
touch you. Yeah, will touch you and make you suffering.
Right.
Yeah, but that is necessary text for a producer. I think you understand. If the
Exactly.
project, and if the project is on its way, I need to organize some regular meetings to discuss content with the scriptwriter and the director and sometimes executive producer and to give my opinions and modification suggestions and we will, just talk about and brainstorming, such like that. I think there is no script is perfect. You
Right.
have to modify it for the market. And the other part is marketing side. And I need to contact the important clients. Most of them are big Chinese brands and to discuss the authorized movie or TV drama series for joint promotion activity or doing product placement, such like that. Uh, as you described in the introduction, one of my most successful projects is the Chinese blockbuster movie, War Warrior 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big
That's
one.
the working record. But in the beginning, I think it's how do I say? I and my team member, we participate from the very beginning of the movie uh, marketing plan. But in the beginning, we persuade our clients, but got very passive response because of its war and the fighting genre,
Right.
Chinese people don't expect that it will be successful in the future, especially your clients. They say, oh, forget it. War and the fighting, so bored.
It's so boring. So boring.
Yeah, so boring, so boring. So I just try my best to persuade my clients, and some of them finally took it, but not many in the beginning. I hope that they will think about it when I next time when I
Exactly.
sell. Yes,
Exactly.
promote
The next one.
new genre. Yes, a new genre movie to them. They have to think about it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned business clients. How do you? Let me add this question: how do you find your business partners / business clients, and how do you suggest the listeners find a Chinese producer or a Chinese business partner?
Well, it's a top secret.
Oh, yes, but do tell.
No, I just make a joke. I promise you to, answer all of your questions.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. How to find my business partner? Okay. In the very beginning, I asked my friends in Beijing government. Because I was a journalist and I work in Hong Kong, so I have a contact with the government official,
Mm-hmm.
And when I came to Beijing, I just asked my friends in the government, and some of them come from SARFT and
right.
China Film Co-Production Group. And I asked them to instruct me and introduce good local business partners for me. And most of them are reliable. That's very important in China,
Of course.
And reasonable. I think they deal with you and very polite and very nice. And we become the friends, And also we could do the self-censorship of our production project in advance.
Right.
That would make our project safer and easier to pass the strict censorship.
Right. Good. You have to.
That's a trick.
Yeah.
Yes. Later, when I stay long enough to build my own professional circle of friends, in Chinese, 朋友圈.
Yeah.
I asked them to introduce the business partner for me. As you may know, I think the Chinese people, they don't want to deal with people they don't quite understand,
Right.
because it's China.
Right.
If someone very welcome you and they say he can do anything for you, don't believe him.
Yeah. Good tip.
Okay. Yes. And how do you find a Chinese producer? In China, there are many talented artists in the market, but not many of them have international collaboration experience. It's not only the language barrier, but logical thinking problem. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, when you speak one thing and then they think another thing.
Right.
Because of the cultural difference, And my suggestion is to find a professional association and ask them to introduce some qualified candidates for you. In Beijing and China, or Shanghai, in Beijing or Shanghai, there are some professional associations that can help you to solve your problem. But you need to have passion to deal with them.
Yes. Now, would one of those?
You need to,
You mentioned an association. You mentioned SARFT. I think they've changed the name. Are there any associations you can suggest. If not, we can email later and I can add them to the show notes. But are there any associations that you would recommend?
I'm familiar with the professional association in Beijing, and it's the China Producer Association.
Okay.
And the China Directors Association.
Okay.
I know their executive, and they just call me Christine. Welcome to office to have a chat.
Good.
So if you need it, you can. I can give you the contact person or such like that.
Oh, perfect,
yeah.
Perfect. I'll put that in the show notes. Well, thank you. That's a good tip.
Now, You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned a couple of movies that you've worked on, Wolf Warrior 2, Smurfs. Let's talk about a past project, any past project. What obstacle did you encounter on a past project? How did you overcome it, and what did you learn?
Okay, because of I think working with foreign friends, partners, such as the big studios in Hollywood, it is very easy for me because we don't have the communication barrier. And also I work for Star TV. Don't forget I work for Star TV in Hong Kong.
Right.
So I have the experience to collaborate with foreign partners. But I think I really had been going through a tough time to deal with local companies.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a very tough time because it's at my early stage in Beijing. And I found some Chinese people that didn't like to follow the contract. And
I have heard of that. I have heard this. So what did you do?
And I had a bunch of reasons to break their commitment. It's terrible. Even after you sign the contract with them, they might not obey the condition. You both agree, to write down on the contract. So, and finally, it will blow the loss of your business and the company. The contract is a legal issue, and it's a self-guarantee.
Right.
But I don't know why they just don't have such a sense. So as a company's legal representative, I chose to stand out and even launch a lawsuit.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, you need to have courage to do that, because the lawsuit, in China, especially now, they are more, progressive and modernizational. So the people getting to know the law regulation is very important. Also, the importance of the contract. But at that time, I think it's suffering, because the lawsuit that lasted 2 years and spent much money,
Wow.
Finally, I won the lawsuit, but I got the program right back. But, without money compensation, because the defendant had declared that he had bankruptcy.
Declared bankruptcy. Yes.
Awful. Yeah. So you want the lawsuit, but you can get your money back. That's awful.
Yes.
So my experience from this case is that be careful on your starting point.
Exactly.
Rather than process. If you choose the wrong partner in the beginning, even you are doing well on the progress or get good market response, you still lose what you should get. or be rewarded from the project. You work so hard,
Right, right.
So be careful your starting point. I
And
think find a good partner is very important.
exactly. And you did mention and you gave us a tip on the China Producers Association and the China Directors Association. So that's a good tip to start out with a good partner. And just for the audience, I will put a link in the show notes. Of a while ago, I interviewed an entertainment lawyer, and he had some tips for how to deal with issues if things go wrong in China. And I will put a link in my show notes. So yes, it's good to have many ideas before you go into business with a Chinese partner. Now, my next question is, if you could magically solve two current problems, what would they be?
Okay. People, how do I say? We need dream, right?
You need to dream. Okay, good.
We need dream, yeah. Okay. One is policy side. I hope that the government rigid and strict regulation on film censorship can be loosened and lifted some unreasonable limitation. Even I have very good connection with the government. I still think the some regulations are very unreasonable.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So taking these measures, I mean the lifted some unreasonable limitation, and the Chinese audience can enjoy more diversified and enjoyable entertainment content. I think they deserve it, after so many years, and now market is getting open, so Chinese audience deserve to have more content to enjoy. Okay,
Right.
and the second is money issue. Because many investors, especially foreign investors, have always asked me the question, how can we get our investing money back
Right.
out of China? Yes. Well, I think that's the truth. You put your money into the market and need your earning money back to you. I think that's very reasonable. But at present, there are still a lot of regulation and limitation for foreign, such like remittance and
Right.
financial. Yeah. So you should make it. So I suggest the foreign partner and should make an elaborate plan on your investment before you pour money into the market. Or you can make a long-term scheme. Just invest your money in China and enjoy the benefit of the market faster development. And because I how do I say, I took my master education in Hollywood, and I think it's full of the entertainment and the business deal, and I hope that the how do I say, the cooperation between China and Hollywood can go smoothly.
Now, earlier you mentioned that you screen scripts, you read scripts, you develop scripts. What sort of future projects are you looking for? Is it film? Is it TV? Is it a particular genre? And what do you think the Chinese studios are looking for?
I think the market has changed and the audience has changed too. You could not predict what kind of film genre people like. Just as I said, even the Wolf Warrior 2 has had experienced a tough time in the beginning because no one believed it will make huge bucks,
Right.
And yes, and I think the audience even don't know what they like to see or watch. until you attract them to the theater or in front of television. But we can draw the work picture based on the big data analysis. In China, big data analysis always mentioned, by the producer. And recently, we found that the movie subject contain a positive and a universal value of life, such as story concerning family, friendship, love, courage, encouragement, and ordinary people who strive for their dreams, fight for their love, and so on. All these genres are related to ordinary people life and the feelings. They are very popular in China market, especially now. For example, Indian films, Dango and Secret Superstar. And the movie were not produced by Hollywood, but they are very popular in China because of similar culture and value, the life value. Besides, I found that some romantic dramas which depict the growth and the suffering of the young people have very successful box office performance, like the X-File,
All right.
the return of the X, and Us and Them. I think the Us and Them is a Chinese La La Land,
Right.
Yes, and the screenwriter is my best friend.
Oh, perfect.
And but when he wrote the script with the other people, they didn't expect that they will be very successful. Again, So the market is quite potential.
Exactly, and you never know. You never know what movie is going to be popular.
You never know. Maybe last year is a war on the fighting, and this year is love romance.
Right.
And the teen film, such like that.
Right.
But I mean, this Chinese movie are medium-sized investment, but have very considerable revenue. I think they are very successful.
Exactly.
And so that's the reason why I think as an independent producer, I just don't want to take risk on big budget production.
Right. Exactly.
After all, I need to be responsible to my shareholder investors. You can just pour the money, big money to the production, and finally say, "I'm sorry." No.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrible. So, regarding our production budget, I think because recently we have modified our strategy to produce some digital content for streaming platform like iQIYI and Youku. Those our production budget range are quite broad. From small budget, $600,000 US dollar, and to $6 million US dollar. I think it depends on the film subject and the release platform. If the content or IP is very popular, we may add the production budget, just to add up the production budget. But it's around, small budget to medium budget and large budget. It depends on the film subject and the release platform. That's very important, especially in China now. The new media has very powerful. Yeah.
It's this is kind of an extra question. Can I ask you on the film side, film versus digital, how does the budget difference? You mentioned a small budget would be like 600,000 US dollars. That's digital, right?
That's the digital for the streaming website. Yeah.
And then what would be, could you tell us what is in China considered a small budget film, a medium budget film? How much money is small? How much money is medium?
I don't know the others thinks about this question, but myself, I think the 600,000 US dollar for the web website movie is reasonable, and it's you just make money and don't lose your money.
Right.
That's my observation, and it's a set budget. 600,000 US dollar for web movie is the set budget.
What would be what would be a film budget?
The film budget, I think, as I said, the $6 million is the basic investment or budget, production budget. $6 million US dollar.
Okay, that's good to know.
For theater movie, I think it's a safe, it's a safe investment.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's good for the writers out there who are trying to write a script for China. They should know what the parameters are, what the budget range would be attractive, so they know not to make it too expensive. Now, let me ask you. Go ahead.
It's also based on the subject,
Exactly.
Because I said, if you made a fantastic, fancy, adventurous film, and you need a lot of the special effects, computer animation, or such that.
Right.
I think the $6 million is too low.
Exactly.
But, So anyway, I play it safe. That's my principle.
Exactly. Good attitude. Okay, well, let me ask you this question. This is sort of a trick question. What question did I not ask that I should have? For example, what did I miss, or what would you like to add? Something that you would like the audience to know about either working in China or something they should know.
So, I think you are a very good interviewer. So you just give me a tricky question.
Yeah.
Okay. I think originally I think you probably will ask me the question like this. Why you can survive so many years in Beijing?
Oh, yeah. So how do you?
Yeah, and also get the trust of the government. As you know, many people came to Beijing, and after few years or even few months, they just quit or give up. Yeah, in Shanghai, it's better, but in Beijing, some people just couldn't, how do I say, stand it because the strict regulation,
right,
and bureaucratic governors, officials, you have to face. So they just quit and they say, no, Beijing.
Right.
I will go to Shanghai, or to Hong Kong or such like that. Okay, my answer is that I always keep low profile.
Okay.
And and persistent work hard on my job.
Okay, now my last question is, what advice can you give those aspiring to tap into the Chinese market for like foreigners who want to do a movie or a TV series or a web series in China, what advice would you give them?
I have to confess that I have many tutors from the United States or Hollywood. They are not only my friends, but my tutors. But as a Chinese people, my advice for those who want to tap into the Chinese market is don't use your stereotype thinking on modern Chinese people, because China has been becoming a very large market in the world, second to the United States, of course. And the people become more sophisticated to deal with than the past. And I observe this, in my 15 years in Beijing. The people is getting more sophisticated to deal with. So my advice is look before you leap.
Good.
The most important thing is find a good and a trustworthy local partner, and set a win-win game rule. Then you will get what you want and you deserve. Yes, because the market is more open than the past, and people has been changing to more civilized and even smarter.
Yes.
So you just respect them, and the people in China also respect you. I think to build up the friendship, and I think it works. You see me, and I'm a Taiwanese, and
right, good.
Yeah, I even have a position in China Advertising Association.
Right.
It's belong the Ministry of the how do I say? I forget the
China Advertising Association.
Yeah, it belongs to government.
So you are well connected.
So that's the reason why I say keep low profile and
exactly.
do what you need to do or want to do. I mean, and make friends. Then it's safe, Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Guanxi. Yeah, completely. Now, in conclusion, would you like to share any social media details or website links in case the audience would like to follow you? For example, Weibo or a website?
Okay. Because I'm a frequent flyer and busy on my project, and I don't have much time to manage my social media, and but I like to communicate with industry professionals and share the opinions. If you like to reach me, call Karen.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
You can.
No one's ever said that.
You can add my WeChat. My account is Huiying BJ. That means HUIYING BJ, and or Skype. It's the same name account, HUIYING BJ. And the website, I think you can go to the China Advertising Association, because that's my, that's my decision. A few years ago, I just dropped out the official website of my company, because we have many deals with the government, So, I just keep low profile, Yeah.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Well, thank you, Christine. This has been very interesting, very informative. And I want to say thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you, Karen. You are welcome. I always say I like to make new friends, especially in the United States. My tutor, I still remember him, in San Diego.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Christine, we'll see you at the premiere.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Keep in touch.
Today I've got 3 key points and 3 takeaways. Number 1 on the key points is self-censorship. Christine mentioned that they practiced self-censorship on their scripts in advance. This is a smart idea. You have to know what China's guidelines are and what will and won't pass censorship. Now, there are exceptions which seem to happen more and more than they did in the past, but still, you have to know the rules. Number 2, Chinese lacking international experience. Christine mentioned many talented artists and technical people don't have international collaboration experience. Another guest on the podcast, an entertainment lawyer, Sky Moore, advised if you're an experienced producer or director, your fastest way to get working in China is just show up there and offer your expertise. Chinese artists and technicians are looking to collaborate with Hollywood. This is an opportunity area for you. Number 3, big data. Christine mentioned how they rely on big data reports to attract audiences to the theater and to their TV shows. What are some steps you can take right away with big data? First of all, you have to define your target audience. And number 2, focus on your existing customers. If you've sold a film yourself or have a website that tracks your followers, you already have great market intelligence on what your customers want. Now for takeaways, I have 3. What's popular with Chinese studios right now? Christine thinks stories about ordinary people who fight for their dreams. Christine also highlighted stories about family, and that's a big one. Courage, friendship, love, and encouragement were way ahead of the game. Number 2, budgets. Christine shared information on what kind of budgets her company handles in regards to streaming content and feature films. She said for digital content streamed on Ichi and Yoku, their budgets range from $600,000 to $6 million US. Also, that a film budget of $6 million USD is considered a basic production budget. For theatrical movies, $6 million is considered a safe investment. That's good to know. Number 3, useful associations. Christine mentioned a couple associations. You can contact the China Film Producers Association through their website, which is www.chinafilms.net, and the China Film Directors Guild. Now, this is going to be tough. It's going to be in the show notes, but I'll tell it to you. www.zgdydxh.com. That's a tongue twister, but it's in the show notes. That's the show for this week. Thank you for listening. To show your support, please go to iTunes, subscribe, and leave a rating so other people can find the podcast. And I'll see you at the premiere. Bye. 一会儿见.